George BRUNO with the 21 Report. We are at the 21 Convention Patriarch Edition 2019, and I'm talking to the host of The Sharp Reality, Mr. Donovan Sharp. Welcome.
How you doing, George?
Good.
Quick question before you actually get started. I don't know where I'm supposed to look. Am I looking there? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I was looking up here. Forgive me, guys. I'm still kind of new at this. You know how that
It's
goes.
okay. It's all right. All right. What do you think of the convention so far?
Listen, just like last time, it's a world-class event. Great food, great people. I got to shake a lot of hands. Got to talk to a lot of people. A lot of guys I've never met before I came here. Like Elliot Hulse, just shook his hand. Rolo Tomasi, of course, I'm really good friends with him. But listen, again, it's been a world-class event. Like, you really can't put into words the accommodations, the events, the organization, the crew. I mean, everyone is, even including yourself, you're a true professional. And that's why I like coming to these, because I know they're going to be run professionally, irregardless of whatever we talk about. We got guys here that have different views, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same side. And I like that this is the venue to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of professionalism, you just built a new studio for your show, which is as nice or better than anything on television. It is. When I watch, there's a lot of radio guys that now do like a video simulcast of their shows, and your studio is, I described it as visually interesting, and it just makes you want to watch. I find I'm listening to your voice, but looking at the stuff in your studio, and it's different, and you switch it up. There's always like little subtle changes that you do. What gave you the inspiration to create the studio that you did? I mean, there's people that broadcast with a wall behind them, and that's it.
Well, the old adage is if you want to be successful, do what other successful people do. And I'm a big sports fan, so I've watched shows like Mike and Mike, I've watched shows like The Herd, not to give them plugs or anything, but those aren't podcasts. Those are simulcasts. That's television and radio simultaneously. So I take a look at guys like Steven Crowder, the Joe Rogan podcast. I guess that's where I got the inspiration for my background. But what really gave me the inspiration is that I wanted people to take what I say seriously. Just like you said, there are a lot of people who just sit in front of a wall and they talk. That's not bad. That's fine. I'm not disparaging what those guys do. But I think that those people could...
And they use the webcam on their laptop, and they have the little...
They've got the little earplug. Right, exactly. I wanted it to come across, and this was my goal from the beginning. I wanted it to come across as a professional broadcast. And I say this all the time. I want you to be able to feel like you're watching television. And I think I've accomplished that. And oh, by the way, I'm not even done yet. I still have a couple more additions to make. But again, what gave me the inspiration to do it is I wanted people to take me seriously, because if you don't take yourself seriously, then nobody else will. Going back to the wall guys, their audiences could be so much bigger if they did just a little bit more. People want to know that you give a shit, right? And the way you come across on the camera, that tells people that you care about your surroundings, just like the way you dress. When you dress well, people know that you care. They know that you give a shit. And that's the way I feel with my surroundings. And that's why this is why I put my heart and soul into my studio, because I love what I've created and built. But I do it for the audience. I reinvest the money that I make, and I want people to see that there's going to be consistent upgrades and changes. So I do it for a lot of reasons, but those are the main ones.
Yeah, I like the idea how you have the camera further away from you. It's not literally within arm's length and on top of you. I mean, it really, and what that does, it really, I think it just keeps people's interest more. Because they are looking around while they're listening to you. How far would you say the camera is away from where you are? Is it like what this camera is?
That's probably about the same length. I wanted my studio to be a reflection of who I am. Not only that, a lot of times I break out. so having the camera a little further away gives people a little less ammo. Donovan's got pimples or whatever. But it's about the same distance. And I like it because it allows it's sort of a visual experience. I want people to for people to watch my show and listen, but I want it to be an experience.
That's it. It's a visual experience. And you got the flat screen, which the resolution of that is absolutely perfect. It's not like a lot of times when you have a bright light or a window behind you. It washes everything out. Yeah, exactly. But it's integrated incredibly. I love it. And then the phone calls.
Yes.
How you have that integrated. I mean, that is like any call-in show.
Right. Like, again, the key is professionalism.
Yeah.
I want people to take my show seriously. Yeah. And I cannot stress that enough, because what we do, we're under constant fire as it is. And you see stuff on social media and Reddit posts and Twitter and Facebook and, oh, these guys are this. Listen, say whatever you want about what I'm talking about. You cannot say I'm not doing it right. And if they have a problem with what I'm doing, guess what? They can give me a call. That's one of the main reasons I do that. Yeah.
Right. Do you see yourself doing a 2-camera shoot eventually?
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually, right now, I do different segments in my show. And so one segment, I'll have one camera here. Then in the next segment, after the commercial break, it'll show a different view. So I am currently working on that. That's a spoiler there. You just got out of me.
Just another step in being visually interesting.
Of course.
Yeah. What do you see as the future of your show?
Oh, wow. Good God, I've never
I mean, you're really just starting this as far as at this level. I mean, it's so far above the iPhone broadcaster with the little ear pods in. I mean, it's TV.
It is. I want my show to be a flagship show. I remember when we sat here last time, you asked me, hey, why are you going on in the mornings? I wanted to be the morning red pill guy. Yeah. Well, now I'm the afternoon red pill guy. I'm the guy that you listen to. I'm the guy that you watch during your lunch or after lunch if you're on the East Coast versus the West Coast. In a few years, I hope to be a brand name. I hope for people to say, hey, I got to find out what Donovan Sharp thinks about X, Y, and Z. When something happens in the world of interpersonal and intersexual dynamics, like the Asia Argento thing a while back, I want people to say, ooh, shit just hit the fan. What's Donovan got to say about it? I can't wait to tune in at 1 Eastern to find out what he has to say. At some point, I would like for my show to sort of run itself. Right now, I do the majority of my content. And what I mean is that I come up with the topics. But at some point, I want there to be such a myriad of topics to talk about. The only problem I have is which ones to leave out, because they're coming in all the time. People submit them. I get the phone calls, articles, blog posts, whatever the case may be. Right now, I do about 50% of my content. That's the decision by me. But half of it right now, that's dictated by my audience. I hope for my show in the future for most, if not all of my content to be 100% dictated by my audience.
Do you have a background in broadcasting at all?
I do not.
That's what, and that was a trick question because I knew you didn't, but the people who don't know that would think that because the impression that they're going to get is that you've been on the air for 30 years.
Right.
For real. I mean, it just sounds like you've been doing this your whole life. That's how good it is.
I've watched people my whole life. Growing up, I watched a lot of TV. My parents were very, very strict about having a strong command of the English language. Parents aren't perfect. My dad messed up. My mom messed up. But if I said, Donovan, do you have any homework today? No, I ain't got no homework. Crack right on the back of the knuckles. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. No, mother, I do not have any homework today. And because of that, I've sort of been able to parlay that into something, doing what I love. But yeah, it is really cool because people ask me all the time, hey, have you done radio? Have you done television, et cetera, et cetera? No, I haven't. But I've watched enough of it, not to become a professional broadcaster, I don't know. But I think I've watched enough of it and I've emulated enough people to make it look like maybe I have. And that's a compliment, man. I take that as a compliment. Yeah.
It's amazing. And really, it doesn't matter because your show is A-list. As far as recording your shows versus going live, it takes a lot of balls to go live because shit can go down.
Sure.
A lot of unexpected stuff can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be really confident, like every other popular podcast that and video streaming, or not streaming, but video show that they're all recorded.
Yes, right.
Which means edited.
Yes, right.
Yours is not.
Right. No, it's
and there's
not.
Risks involved with that. Talk about those risks.
Well, some of the risks involved, of course, just not getting it right. Everything, and I mean everything, that happens on my show, audio and visual, everything is there on purpose. Nothing is an accident. Yeah. I'm talking about from the placement of my Eagles helmet to whatever shoe I want on my set, to the little message, everything, to the light color, to the placement of my microphone. Nothing is an accident. Yeah. Nothing is a coincidence. So there's a risk there, like, holy shit, I didn't have something in place for segment number 1. So for segment number 2, I'm going to get up and I'm going to change that. Other risks involved are people who would call up and troll me, call up and talk about, it doesn't happen often because we know that trolls or people who are, I guess we call them e-thugs, internet gangsters, they don't have the balls to pick up the phone and call me, but the ones that have get dealt with very quickly. Yeah. I don't like to be braggadocious, but you're not going to catch me off guard. Right. Like you're not, because I know what I'm talking about.
You don't hesitate to block.
No, of course not. I don't mess with people. And this is a weakness of mine. I actually made a change in my show. I no longer address the chat because the chat is part of that risk. Mm-hmm. And, for those who have listened to and read me over the years, I have a documented anger problem. Intermittent explosive disorder, IED, it is real. And a lot of the chatters take advantage of that. And so I would look at that and it would completely derail me. And I'm thinking, shit, like that was, but then you get kudos from the fans who are like, oh my God, you roasted this guy and that guy. But that's not what I want my brand to be. Listen, if you step into the lion's den, you're certainly going to tangle with me, but I'm not going to let someone chat their way into my attention. Mm-hmm. If you want my attention, have the balls and give me a call. Yeah. We may disagree and I may not like you at the end of the phone call, but at least you have my respect. You have the balls to pick up the phone and actually say something. And one last thing, in terms of risk, I find it very cowardly that people who do not show their face on the internet attack people who do. They can say whatever they want, but people who are under the shroud of anonymity, they talk all tough. We even deal with this in the red pill community. There are a lot of red pill guys we've never seen before, but they're steady talking shit about the 21 convention guys. Hey, the difference between us is that we're on camera and you're not. Right. So while we may agree fundamentally on certain things, don't come after us because we're doing what you wish you could do. That's what that comes down to. So part of that risk is keeping my temper under control, and to mitigate that risk, I no longer look at the chat.
You also have your own app now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep, the Donovan Sharp mobile app, man. The Donovan Sharp mobile app, a lot of people thought it was just something to have to be cool, but that's part of building my own platform. YouTube is not going to let me talk about this forever. They've axed 2 of my channels. Number 3 is probably going to happen sometime in the not too distant future. What the mobile app allows me to do is it allows me to build and perform on my own platform. You can't take me down off of my mobile app. You can't do it. There are multiple streaming services that I use that are anonymous. You have no idea who I'm using. Not only that, they don't store the video, so people can't go on the videos and flag the videos. They all belong to me. So I'll record them while I'm on the air. As soon as I'm done, they go right into the hard drive, onto the next one. So the mobile app is great. And I'm glad that I'm one of the first to have it, but I'm thinking big picture that 5 years down the line when I'm a brand name, at some point the Donovan Sharp mobile app is going to be the only place that you can get Donovan Sharp related content.
You took risks, you rolled the dice, and it paid off.
Yes.
And that right there is a message in and of itself. What would you say to the viewer who is contemplating taking risk and contemplating rolling the dice? Talk to that person who hasn't quite yet started. Be their motivational speaker.
Well, actually, I will demotivate you, and I'll let you know that this is not for everyone. If you want to do what we do here at the 21 convention, that's great. It's great to say it. It's great to talk about it, and everything works in theory. But you're going to have to understand that this comes with inherent risk. If you are a father, if you're a husband, you need to take measures to make sure that your family's information doesn't get out there. I'm very fortunate. I don't have any children. And there's really, my face is already out there, so people don't really know that much about me. But if you're thinking about doing this, you have to understand that once there is a point of no return. And once you put your foot in the point of no return, there is no going back. So if you want to do it, you have to go all in, and you have to understand that there are going to be some risks, and a lot of those risks are going to bite you in the ass. If you're a single guy, if you don't have any kids, okay, that's fine, but understand that people that you associate with, they could also be sort of dragged into the fray. So you need to make sure that you need to make sure you insulate your audience from the people that you know and love. I'm very fortunate to have done a very good job of that. So if you really think you want to do this, you need to talk to guys like Jack Murphy, who recently got doxxed. He lost his job and all that other kind of stuff. And he's very risk averse at this point, and for very, very good reason. Guys like him, there are other guys who have been doxxed, other guys who have been outed. They've lost jobs, pensions, their families. Things have been. A lot of times people, their lives get threatened. So you need to understand that if you want to do this on the red pill side, there are going to be risks. If I were you, I wouldn't do it. That's just all there is to it. Now, if you want to say, well, fuck you, Donovan, I'm going to do this. Okay, that's fine, but don't say I didn't warn you. If you do decide to do this, it's very fulfilling, but it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. That's the way I'll put it.
I think you just threw down the gauntlet for a whole bunch of people, and I think that's actually going to motivate them to do it.
Well, it's not for everybody, George. And don't get me wrong. There are a lot of men that have so much to offer the red pill community in the way of theories, experience, field reports, ideas, but I wish I had a better way to explain this. You don't go from zero to this overnight. Right. Dude, I have a lot of scars. You deal with a lot of different things. And listen, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but for every there are costs. I'll go ahead and say there's more good than bad, but you have to understand that bad can sometimes be really bad. Nothing is free. There are costs, whether it's money, time, your anonymity, et cetera, et cetera. You really need to think long and hard before you do this. If you do decide to do this, welcome aboard. We'll take the risk together.
If I could give this interview a title, I would call it Risk and Reward with Donovan Sharp.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. I appreciate it, man.